started. So we are using this dimension A4. So our blank space is opened. We add a rectangle. Make sure it covers the whole area. Now we change the color. Choose this gradient. Now we are going to use this gradient. So this is the first color. You can copy this code and you will get the same color. Our second color. So you can pause the video and copy this code and you are going to get the same color. Now once it is done, please change the linear to radar and then select the inverse. So we have this. Now make a duplicate of this layer using Ctrl J. Select the one below, go to properties, color, then select this solid color. Now of all the colors, we are going to use this very one. Click OK. Now we have our two colors for the background. So we are going to rasterize each layer. Now after they are rasterized, select the upper layer, go to eraser. Now make sure that the hardness is set to 0 and also adjust the size. Okay, now once it is selected, go ahead and erase some parts. Use the bracket keys to adjust the size of the eraser. Now this is okay. So we finally add a curve to our background. Just drag it a bit downwards. So let's take this for the meantime. Now press and hold the Ctrl key and select all the backgrounds and group them using this folder. So double click and rename it. So I am naming it background. Okay, so once this is done, we are going to add a triangle. So we first choose a rectangle. Make sure the outline is straight or there is no outline at all. Okay, so once the rectangle is set with a black color, press Ctrl T to enter resize mode. Okay, so right click and select perspective. Hold one edge and drag it just like this. Yes. Control T and rotate it this way. Now, once it is highlighted, go to the fill and reduce the fill to 30%. Now make a copy of this layer using Ctrl J and drag it downwards. Use Ctrl T and rotate it just like this. And bring it down. Ctrl T to resize it, make sure it is adjusted well. Okay. Now, since we have this set, we go ahead and import our first image, that is the microphone. Now, this is our microphone. So just drag and drop it into our project. So use Ctrl T to enter the resize mode and enlarge it. Now please check description for the download of this image. Now change the blending mode of our microphone to overlay. Now this one is set, so we go ahead and also open. So they are already in PNG format, so we just drag and drop them into our project. Use Ctrl T to resize. Change the blending mode also to overlay. Add ellipse tool. Make sure it is positioned at the center. Okay. Now we are going to add our text. So type in your text, double click to highlight. Now go to character, change the font type Okay, now in the layer, select this explosion and make a copy. So duplicate it using Ctrl J. Now that it is duplicated, we are going to rasterize the layers. Now select the one below and change the color to white. Now, once the color is changed, we rasterize the layer. So we now have a text of the same spelling but different colors. Now select the first one. Use the polygonal lasso tool and cut part of it. Click Delete on the keyboard and press Ctrl D to deselect. Now select the lower one with the same tool, cut, this part, click Delete and press Ctrl D. Now we have two parts, so you can use the arrow keys to separate them a bit. Now select the upper part and add a layer mask. So after this, go to the gradient, make sure the linear one is selected. Now right from here, drag it upwards. Good. So we have our text. Now let's go ahead and import our flare. Drag and drop into our project. Use Ctrl T to resize this. Now you can see the hue above it, but this one has to come on top. So we go straight to the layer and drag it upwards, way to the top. Now change the blending mode from normal to screen. So drag it to the right place. Make a duplicate with Ctrl J and drag it downwards, but decrease the size of the second flare. Now this is the reason, because we want this same effect, the effect that we created at the background. We want that same effect to come on top. That is why we are using this flare. So we are adding one more flares. Check the description for the download of these flares. Now change the blending mode to screen. Now with it selected, go to image, adjustment, then go to color balance. Now drag it to the left, drag this to the right. drag this to the right. Resize it a bit by decreasing the size. And also let's resize this one a bit. Now let's go ahead and import our logo. Now that we have our logo set, we can put the theme below it, or the caption for the program. Use Ctrl T to resize. Add a rectangle. Now let's drag the rectangle below the text so that the text can show. Select the rectangle, right click, go to blending options, go to drop shadow. And set the angle to -40. It's okay. Alright, so we are going to add our date, our time, and our contact. So let's go ahead and do it. Now finally, we are going to put another curve on top of it all. We are going to drag it downwards. As now. So this, if you have not subscribed, to the channel, please do so right now to support me and keep me going. I also want to hear from you, so drop a comment below. I am going to get to you. Bye bye.